Ukraine crisis. Dozens killed in East as Minsk talks held. At least 40 people have been reported killed as fighting between Ukrainian troops and pro-Russian rebels rages on in the east of the country. Ukrainian officials say 15 soldiers and 12 civilians died in the past 24 hours. The rebels report 13 casualties. The separatists also claimed to have seized the town of Ulyansk and surrounded the key hub of Debaltseve, but the Ukrainian military denies this. Meanwhile, urgent truce talks ended in Belarus, but no deal was signed. Displacement and suffering. The latest report on the situation in the conflict zone stood in stark contrast to the concept of a ceasefire. On Saturday, Ukrainian Defense Minister Stepan Poltoruk told reporters that 15 soldiers were killed and another 30 injured during the fighting on the whole line of contact in the past 24 hours. The BBC's David Stern, expectations are low that fighting will end any time soon. He also admitted that Debaltseve was now partially controlled by the rebels. Meanwhile, Vyacheslav Abryskin, head of the Ukrainian Interior Ministry in the Donetsk region, said 12 people were killed by rebel shelling in the town. In the rebel stronghold of Donetsk, Eduard Bachurin, deputy commander of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic, said 13 people, including civilians, were killed in the past 24 hours in the areas held by the separatists. He also claimed that some 8,000 Ukrainian troops were now surrounded in and around Debaltseve. Ukrainian officials earlier denied the claim. In a statement, Pyotr Apakhin, the chief monitor of the OSCE mission in Ukraine, condemned the shelling of densely populated civilian areas in eastern Ukraine. Yet again, innocent civilians have been impacted by the crisis, and yet again we are seeing more bloodshed, Mr. Apakhin said, urging all sides to prevent further displacement and suffering. Representatives of Ukraine and Russia, as well as rebel envoys and members of the Organization for Security and Cooperation OSCE, took part in the meeting in the Belarusian capital Minsk. Former Ukrainian President Leonid Kuchma, Kiev's representative at the talks, was quoted as saying that the talks had been thwarted by the rebels. The recent heavy fighting has left the September ceasefire, also agreed in Minsk, in tatters.